5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Yo, welcome to the stream, welcome to the Blue Lounge. I hope you guys are doing good. I hope you guys are doing well. People tell me if the mic is okay, if the audio and the video is okay, because I had some technical issues starting the stream. So I'm not sure if you guys can hear me or if you guys can see me. So tell me in the chat if the audio and the video is working okay, because it was playing up earlier when I was trying to prepare for the stream. So just let me know. Is the audio good? Let me know. Yeah, I can see the comments in the chat, but I'm not seeing if you guys are telling me audio and video. Let me know. Is the audio and video? Audio's good, video's good. All right, corner. Thank you, lads. Where do I start? People have been pushing to give him a chance, to give Graham Potter more time, more of a chance. But look, people, I'm seriously at the edge. I've had enough. I have had enough. Today's game was shambolic. We have to put it into context, people. Chelsea were playing the last place team in the Premier League. A team that they don't have a manager. They don't have a set structure, you know? Man's coming in and is a caretaker, and you know, he manages to beat one of the giants of the Premier League, Chelsea Football Club, a team that is supposed to be one of the best in this league. A team that has just spent over £500 million in 2 transfer windows, 600 million in 2 transfer windows, with some massive names, with some massive history, and yet we failed to beat Southampton. Players, manager's fault. Whose fault is it? I'm going to tell you my thoughts on this. I'm going to tell you how I feel about this and where I think we should be heading. Where we are heading. We're just trying to change the brightness a little bit. I think this is better. So guys, I'm gonna discuss the game. I'm gonna discuss Todd Boehly. I'm gonna discuss Graham Potter, and I'm gonna discuss this whole situation. I'm gonna give you guys a chance to come in here and also talk to me and give me your thoughts and opinions on this whole situation. I'm sick and tired, lads. I'm sick and tired, and I want to just... this is going to be pretty much of a rant stream, but I'll let you guys lead the way. Before we continue, let me just say hello to the people in the chat. Go to the top. First comment by Lee Green. Yeah, mate. I agree. Marcio, out. Potter. Okay, good to see you. Yeah, thank you, Aidan. Thank you. It's not great circumstances, I got to tell you. It's not great circumstances. That's not the... hi, listen, the fetching for... it's an edit. I think it's an edit. I got it from someone. It's an edit. I'll be surprised if he is sacked. Apparently, he's been backed again. Matt Law tweeted earlier, Potter is still going to be around for a little while. Todd Boehly needs to swallow. Yeah, I tweeted about this earlier in the week. Todd Boehly has spent north of £75 million to bring in Graham Potter. A lot of people don't really know exactly how much Chelsea are paying Graham Potter. They paid £15 million to Brighton Hove Albion to release him from his contract with them. We're paying him $12 million a year for a 5-year contract. That works out to be 60 million. 60 million plus the 75 million that we've already paid to release him from his contract. The 15 million, that's 75 million altogether. That's how much money we've spent to get Graham Potter in this job. And that is why they don't want to sack him so soon. If it is soon. Blue Class TV, Nee Zion. Big up to you, my brother. It's easy to point fingers, but time will tell on where I stand on Potter. Listen, Nee Zion, I'm going to be putting the link in the chat in a moment. I'd love to get you to come on here and get your thoughts and opinions on this because, honest with you, I know where I stand. And I don't need no more time to make up my mind. Graham Potter has had it. He's done it. This is his level. He's got nothing to give. Nothing to give from what I've seen so far. Characters corner. Please resign, Potter. He ain't gonna resign, mate. He wants to get paid. Big up to you, Luke. Good to see you in the chat. Bobby Fairview, big up to you. Good to see you too, my brother. Taxi for Potter. Listen, I'll pay for it. I'll pay for the taxi and whatever forms of transportation he needs to get back home and just away from Stamford Bridge. It is a nightmare, my man. It is definitely a nightmare. He should not have been subbed. He should not have been subbed. He played well. Both Fofanas played well, actually. It was good to see Wesley back in the team. Audio, yeah. Thanks, Joe. Thank you, Courtney. Big up to you, my brother. Big up to you. Let me see who else was in here. Have I missed any? Sterling is a good player. He's a good player. But listen, I'm going to address the players in a second. Because there are issues when it comes to the players. Why is the writing backwards on the back? Let me just change that. Oh, here we go. Quick change. The writing was backwards. Sterling did all right. Must be honest, I was willing to give him a chance, but today's result tested the faith in the process. I'd be willing to put bets on that hands flick. Look, we all gave him a chance, and every manager that comes in is entitled to our support and our backing. But for how long? And under what circumstances? What performances? What are we seeing from him? We're not seeing nothing from him. So we all give him a chance, including myself. But I think it's time for him to go, mate. I saw the lion in the Chelsea crest and the airport. What else do we have here? Have I missed anybody's comments? Patrick, what's Patrick saying? What a mess we're in. Patrick, it's a madness. It's a madness. I'm just going to see the rest of the comments quickly. Mohammed. Paul was a better coach to develop. Yeah. Iman, good to see you, my brother. Good to see you too. And thanks for following me on Twitter. Much appreciated, man. Oliver, these owners are enemies of progress if they don't sack Potter by midday tomorrow. They're not sacking him. They're not sacking him, mate. They're not sacking him. All right. I don't think I've missed anybody. Okay, here we go. Steve Hurst. What's Steve saying? Needs to bite the bullet and sack. Okay. All right, guys. So this is it. This is the situation. Todd Boehly has made a mistake. He has made a massive mistake in signing this so-called manager, Graham Potter. Now, I've heard, I've read, and I've seen things that suggest that Graham Potter was recommended to Todd Boehly and the consortium by an ex-Chelsea football player. An ex-Chelsea legend. Apparently, and again, I'm not confirming this, but this is what I've read. John Terry recommended Graham Potter to the new ownership as a good manager, as a good option to have, and they sacked Tuchel and they brought him in. All right, so that's where we are. I ain't too pleased. If this is true, if John Terry is the person who recommended Graham Potter, but if it is the case, then that's where we are. Today's game The performance was so bad. It was hard to watch. Not only was it hard to watch, it was as if we were one of the worst teams in the Premier League playing against a top side. Southampton were attacking us. Southampton were pressing us. Southampton were the ones dominating the game. We were the ones reacting to what Southampton were doing. It's not supposed to be like that, lads. It's not supposed to be like that. If you look at the players who have come in, every single player who has come into the club, when they first played for us, they performed well. And now it dipped. Felix, before he got sent off, he had 60 minutes of fantastic gameplay. Mudryk, his first game, played well. The only player who's currently keeping his level, but everyone else, even the big names like Felix, these are players who are supposed to be performing, who are supposed to be motivated. But yet, you don't see that right now. You see Felix missing some sitters against Dortmund. These are players that aren't supposed to be playing that way. Why do they play so badly when they're playing for Chelsea? I'm not going to use the example of Jorginho, who had a madness today for Arsenal, because Jorginho played the way he played for all the managers. Different form with Potter, but everybody else's form is dipped with Potter. I don't think Graham Potter is able to motivate people. The man is supposed to have a psychology degree or something like that. Yet the players on that pitch don't seem to be feeling energy, feeling a push, feeling a kick up the backside when they're not performing. In fact, when players are not performing, he seems to give them more opportunities to not perform. And the players who do perform, they get sidelined. Today, his selection baffled the hell out of me because he rested players. He rested key players today. Would you rest players who are not injured when your next game is in a week? Yeah, we're playing. We got no game midweek, so we're playing next weekend. Why is he resting players? Why did he play Aspilicueta today and rested Reece James? Why did he play a midfielder as a winger when he had Mudryk on the bench and Ziyech in the stands? Why did he play Mason Mount as a left winger? Why did he play Mason Mount? Full stop. Mason Mount is not playing well right now. Why play him? Did he think that by playing Mason Mount, maybe he'll have a good game against a lower team, a team of less ability? Apparently, that didn't work. I'm glad he started Fofana up front. That was the only part that I was pleased with. I don't know, lads. I don't know. I'm gonna put the link in the chat, and I'm gonna watch his press conference, his post-match press conference, and then we'll take it from there. But I'll put the link in the chat for you guys if you want to jump on and give me your thoughts and opinions. And I ask you to give me a second. I ask you to switch on your camera when you do come on, at least for the first few seconds, just so that I see who's here. So here's the link. It's in the chat. I'm going to pin it up. Pin message. All right. So the link is in the chat. I'm going to try and find the press conference. Because the post-match press conference was really... I'm not going to say interesting, I'm going to say boring. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, here it is. It was boring as in his answers. His answers are always the same. We could have done better. We should have done better. Mate, it's your job to get things to get better. Not we should have, but we need to. All right, here we go. Let me just find the where is it? Here we go. Why isn't it like? Okay, here we go. Share screen. Alright. So we'll do this now.
Okay, we're going to do a review of today's game and then we'll do a quick Mondays straight after. If you'd like a question, please raise your hand and we'll get around the room and start here with Andy Dunn.
Hi Graham, I'll get onto the football briefly after this if I may, but first of all, I just wondered how Cesar is, what the latest is please with the injury.
Well, he's in hospital, so he's in the best place. He's conscious, and I think he was speaking to his wife, so that's good. We're obviously really concerned, especially when it first happened, but hopefully he's in the best place, and we'll keep.
Just want to say something. I'm really unhappy and upset at the way Cesar was tackled today. What was that tackle? It was more of a collision. It wasn't something that was intentional, but seeing him like that on the floor, in that state, it wasn't nice to watch. My prayers are with him, and I hope he recovers well, recovers soon. It can't be easy, especially for his family, seeing their their father, their husband, lying there like that in that state. So hopefully he makes a full recovery.
He got kicked full in the face because we couldn't quite see, and then I saw his head was in the neck brace oxygen. Was that kind of precautionary, or was he unconscious at any time? Do you know?
I think he was. Yeah.
Right.
So we have to take all the precautions we need to take now and make sure he's okay. But it was worrying. It was a horrible incident.
Yeah, for such a long time for the game to be held up, so it kind of adds to that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. On the football front, I just wonder if we can just get into the nitty gritty of that. I mean, it's probably not a great performance. It looked to me like a bit of a step backwards even from Dawes. I wonder firstly what your assessment is on.
The report used the phrase nitty gritty. I actually want to show you a clip after this press conference of Eunice Talks Football's analysis of the game, because he made some really, really interesting points in respect to how Graham Potter managed this game. So I'll show you that after this.
On that.
Yeah, I think it was certainly in the first half. It was a below par performance in the first half. Returning from the Champions League, and we had to make some changes. So you lose a bit of fluidity, you lose a bit of cohesion. Southampton, set up with a plan and idea. They used the game well with a big target man, and but our performance wasn't what we wanted in the first half. And I take as much responsibility as anybody in that. I thought the response second half was good, and I thought we deserved a goal. We created enough chances, or a good enough chances to score. But when you don't, then obviously it's difficult to win football matches.
Okay, Gary, let's move around the room. Get one chance. Trey?
Yeah. David Fofana played the first 45 minutes, but what was the thinking to bring them off at half time?
Well, just to use Raheem, really. We wanted to use Raheem in the wide areas.
Okay, so this bit baffles the hell out of me. He was asked why he brought off Fofana after having a good first 45 minutes, and he said to bring on Raheem, because Raheem would be giving us more in the wide areas. But then you have Mason Mount playing in the wide areas. Wouldn't it make more sense to take off Mason Mount and bring on Raheem Sterling? Do you see what I mean? His tactical mindset confuses me. I mean, why would you take off a striker to bring on a winger because you want to impact the wing when you already have a midfielder playing on the wing? Let's carry on.
and that was the decision. It was a tricky one for David. I think he had one really good action, so it wasn't necessarily a reflection on him. It was more just tactically to use Raheem.
Neil Warner.
Can you just confirm players were injured who weren't in the squad? Reece James, Thiago Silva, Cucurella, Ziyech, Loftus-Cheek.
No injuries. No injuries. More just the turnaround of the games and the demand of the games, considering a few of them injuries-wise previously and with Reece.
All right, so none of these players were injured. These players that were mentioned, Thiago Silva, Reece James, Ziyech, etc., etc. They weren't injured, but turnaround of games, yeah, lads? Listen to what he's saying. Turnaround of games. We are currently in 2 competitions, and we're going to leave pretty soon the Champions League. The way we're playing, we're going to be out of the Champions League very, very soon. All right, and he's trying to, what is it? Conserve energy, conserve players, injuries, blah, blah, blah. Do you guys remember Thomas Tuchel, who had to deal with what? Champions League, FA Cup, Carabao Cup, Premier League, Super Cup, and World Club Cup, all in one season. And how far did we progress in all those tournaments? Interesting, eh? Graham Potter, love you, mate.
290s, which is more than we expected at the start of the week. So it was just a case of managing the load and managing the squad.
Anybody?
Right, it's only a short walk between the press box and here, but I got approached by 2 Chelsea fans on my way to here. Negative feedback. One said you had to go, the other said you're the worst manager in this club's history. How would you respond to that kind of criticism, and what would you say to fans like that?
Well, after a 1-0 defeat at home, any criticism you get is understandable. I think we've had a tough period, and I think we've had lots of challenges in terms of integrating young players into the Premier League.
All right, so he's had a challenge integrating young players into the Premier League. Yeah, you are supposed to be one of the top managers in the league. Yeah, because that's what you're receiving. You're receiving top manager salary right now. You're receiving 12 million a year. You're costing us 60 million over the next 5 years. You've already cost us 50 million to bring you here, and you are having trouble integrating young players into the team. I'm just going to say this: Frank Lampard didn't have that problem.
Whilst results don't go your way, then it can be tough. That's how it is, and I'm sure there'll be people out there that will think I'm the problem. Absolutely, and I understand. I don't think they're right, but I'm not arrogant enough to say that they're.
No. I'm going to be arrogant. I'm going to be arrogant and say they're right. They are right. You are the worst manager in our history. You are the worst manager in our history, and it isn't an opinion. It's a fact. It is stated. It's a stated fact. Look at the results. Look at the results. So, no, they're right.
Their opinion isn't worth articulating. My job is to help the team keep working through a tough period.
The only tough period is the fact that you're managing our team. That is why we are in a tough period.
We've had to make some changes today, so in the truth is we took a step back in our performance in the first half.
We've taken a step back in our performance ever since you became Chelsea manager.
The response in the second half was good, but it wasn't good enough.
Jacob Starnberg.
Obviously, you made chances in the second half. It could have gone differently, but when it's a second half like that, there might be people wondering why you don't have a striker like Aubameyang on the bench, just for those moments. I mean, you've said that he's shown great attitude, trained well since being left out of the Champions League squad. So, what is it that he's not doing to get involved on a day like this when you make so many changes? What's he have to do?
Well, I would say keep doing what he's been doing. We made a decision to give David the opportunity, and you've still got Kai and Raheem coming on. I thought they impacted the game well, but obviously when you don't score, we've created some chances recently, but when you don't score, I understand the question.
Okay, we'll do one more, and then we're going to do a Sundays, Andy Dillon, and then we'll finish there.
Graham, inevitably with Chelsea, it's always everything's high.
Just hold on a second. When you don't score, when you don't score, yeah, I mean, it's good that you know that. It's good that you understand that if we don't score, we're gonna have problems. So I'm glad you know that because, it's a problem when we don't score.
Highlighted, so you lose with a performance like this, and there's a lot of conspiracy theories. It's taken a long time for you to come in today. Has there been a big kind of inquest in the dressing room? I don't know if it's logistical. Do you still think you're the man for the job? Have you spoken to the owners, or do you expect some sort of feedback from them over the way things are going?
There's absolutely no conspiracy, and sorry, I can't give you that. Just there's a lot of media, and I think my colleague has done the media before me, so it's as simple as that. I always come in and speak to you guys. I understand the questions, and I'm not going to, when we've lost 1-0 at home to Southampton, with the greatest respect to them, it isn't good enough because of the results we've had recently. Absolutely, first half is as much my responsibility as anybody's, so the performance wasn't good. I thought the second half.
I'm just gonna stop you for a second, guys. Are you hearing this? I mean, this is what he says after every single game. After every single game, we could have done better. The lads gave it all they had. Luck wasn't on our side. If a decision went the other way, what is this? What is this? For real, this guy. I mean, I don't know. What is your job? Your job is to manage. So manage. Don't talk about me. Don't talk to me about we had a good first half, we had a bad second half, because as a manager, you're supposed to have control. You're supposed to have a plan A, B, C, D. Have a plan. Okay, adapt, adjust. Not, we could have done better. No, do better. Do better.
Our performance was better, and I thought we deserved to score. I think if you
deserving something doesn't mean you're going to get it. You deserve to score doesn't mean you are going to score. Do something that will enable you to score, like having a striker on the pitch, taking out a striker to bring on a winger. So the winger crosses the ball in. Who's going to be on the end of that cross? Because we saw Mason Mount try to head the ball, but Mason Mount is not a striker. I'm sorry, Potter, but you're just waffling right now.
Score, then the game changes around, but at the same time, 1-0 isn't good, and we're disappointed with that.
Okay, we're going to leave.
Yeah. All right, lads. I'm going to bring on one of my panelists who's here with us today. Eric Blue, welcome to the stream.
Sorry. I probably should have brought the mic closer to my face. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, no, this Potter thing is catching. Everyone's getting this.
Yeah, I'm all over the place.
Excuse me.
I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just forgot to put the mic. I forgot to look. I didn't even watch the match. So imagine if I watched the game, how I would be feeling right now. But I just thought, I had a very weird decision. I made the awful decision of saying, let me actually take a look. I was busy, but I said, let me just look at the match, see what happened. See what the scoreline is. Because obviously there's no way Chelsea can lose this game, I mean, losing a draw would be unthinkable, let alone a loss. And we somehow managed to lose. We found a way to lose.
Yeah.
And Ward-Prowse with a free kick. I mean, you couldn't make it up. It's so ironic, and it's just remarkable how bad we are.
Yeah. It's also predictable though. I mean, right now the way we're playing is I mean, if we had beaten Southampton, do you know what would have happened? Had we have actually won that game, everyone would have come on here and they'd have went, oh, Graham Potter turned it around. He did a fantastic job. No, it's Southampton. We're supposed to beat Southampton. Had we have beaten Southampton, I would have sat here and analysed the game, and I'd have talked about the certain things that have happened in that game, because we expect to beat Southampton. The fact that we failed to beat Southampton at home, I think they haven't won a game in 9. They haven't won a game in 9, and they come to Chelsea, they come to Stamford Bridge, and they beat us. And to be fair, they outplayed us. Okay, I mean, when Graham Potter is talking about, we had a poor first half. It wasn't poor. It was a disaster. It was a disaster our first half. The second half, first 10, maybe 15 minutes, we were playing okay. We weren't playing great. We were playing okay. But for us to see Chelsea playing okay, we're thinking, wow, Chelsea are playing okay. They're playing good. No, we weren't playing good. We were playing okay. And that is where we've gone to. Our expectation level has dipped so much that for us to play okay, we deserve to score. That's what he said. We deserve to score. No, you don't deserve nothing. In football, it isn't what you deserve. It's what you actually do, what you actually get, what you actually fight for, what you actually plan ahead for. We deserve to score. Yeah? Well, I tell you something. Aspilicueta doesn't deserve to get kicked in the head, but he got kicked in the head. So it doesn't matter what you deserve. It's what happens. Eric, I wanna just put on the screen something. I want us both to watch. I'm just trying to find it. Hold on a second. Okay, so this is the bit. All right, so I'm gonna put on a video. This is Eunice Talks Football's match reaction video, and he talks about Potter's tactics, and he's got it spot on. I mean, Eunice normally gets it spot on, but this time, I mean, I'm just thinking, I'm watching this, and I'm thinking to myself, why did Potter do this? And let's just watch it. Hold on, I'll bring it up. So, and guys, the link is there. Anybody wants to jump on and give me their thoughts and opinions? We'll be discussing it after we watch this clip.
What in the blue hell was that about? I got a problem with that already. About who in the hell leaks that information 18 hours before kickoff? In the club that's getting that information out, by the way. But who? That needs to be dealt with. For us to get accurate information about Reece James is rested, Ziyech, Cucurella arrested, Aubameyang's not in.
So, in case you guys haven't seen his video, he's talking about the leak of information prior to the game. So, someone leaked that we're arresting James, we're arresting Ziyech, we're arresting Cucurella, we're arresting X, Y, and Z player prior to the game. So there's already a leak in there somewhere. I'm seeing Tony in the chat. Tony, big up to you, my man. It's been a minute. It's good to see you back. All right, let's continue with Eunice.
In the squad, Loftus-Cheek is rested. I'm missing someone. I feel like I'm missing someone. But you get all of those players that aren't going to be in the squad. We already get news of 18 hours before kickoff. How does that work? But anyway, how in the blue hell does that decision in itself make sense? We had today, after the Dortmund game, we've got until next week. We got until next weekend. 7 days. We're playing Saturday 3 p.m. I think our next game is on the Sunday. If I'm not mistaken, I need to check. It could be Saturday, it could be Sunday. But regardless, 7, if not 8 days until our next game. And we're resting players against bottom of the league Southampton. What? Here's where we go a little fast forward. Aspilicueta, I hope he's okay. Honestly, he got sent straight to hospital. He did react after that. He got kicked in the head. Proper JT old school moment. If you remember when JT got kicked in the head against Arsenal in that League Cup final, you remember. Similar thing today with Aspilicueta. Gets kicked, gets knocked out, literally. Does recover. And when they were stretching him off the pitch, he was clapping to the fans. So he did react. He is awake, and thank God for that. But Aspi comes off. it would be nice to have Reece James, who isn't actually injured, he's being rested, to just come on for 15 minutes. You'd think he could do that.
Explain that to me. Explain that to me. Why would you? Okay, you want to rest him, man? Rest him. But who's your alternative? So you've got one right back, one right wing back, and there's nobody on the bench. I mean, Aspilicueta, you thought you're gonna play him for the whole 90 minutes. Fair enough. Take into account he may get injured. So let Reece James sit on the bench with his kit on. Let him be able to come on. He would have been ideal to come on after we went down by a goal. So spot on, Eunice. Spot on.
Instead, we got to put Chalobah on. Why? Because we made a decision to rest on the back of what? A game that he played and didn't come out injured? We got another week until recovery? The options that we went to the bench today and some of the substitutions. I mean, we started off the team with Kepa in goal, Aspilicueta, Ben Chilwell, Koulibaly and Badiashile, right? Thiago Silva, again, rested. Southampton. Now, we could make the case that whoever comes in place should still be able to do a job against Southampton. And for this, I agree. Regardless of literally who you're picking, you could play the academy team. And to be honest, I expect a result against the bottom of the league manager of Southampton at home. So what I'm saying, but you're willingly just taking off the best parts of this team. Whilst we need the...
Literally, that's what he did. That's what he did. He dismantled the team because, we're playing Southampton. I don't have to play these guys. No, you have to play these guys because you have to beat Southampton. Get the result first and then take players off. Score a couple of goals, rest players. But you're coming into this game with bad form. You haven't scored a goal in God knows how long. You haven't won a game in God knows how long. And you're coming in, we'll rest some players, yeah? Southampton will rest some players. Doesn't work like that. Does not work like that. Garbia, I see you in the back. I'll bring you on after we finish with this video. I'll bring you on, mate. Just sit tight.
Point. We're not sitting top of the league. You best believe they're all playing. But we need points. We're sitting, ladies and gentlemen. There are still points to go and get. We're knocked out of all the competitions except for the Champions League. We're talking about resting. God forbid if we're playing in 3 or 4 competitions. Flipping hell, we're not going to see any of them. If we're resting for Dortmund, that's taking place in nearly 2 weeks, then we've lost our minds. Or Graham Potter's lost his head. If we're actually looking that far forward to think and put all our eggs in that basket when we actively need points, and those are the only competitions we're in, and we're trying to babysit these footballers like they're not elite Premier League ballers that should be able to handle this sort of schedule because we've got PTSD about injury. I
just got to say, Eunice, we do have PTSD about injury, and Graham Potter has lost his head. You can't say it any better. He has lost his head.
Ridiculous. As I've said, what happens if we're playing in 4 competitions? Oh, then we're going to be playing 1 player every month. Or what? Come on. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But we start off with that back line. Kovacic and Enzo in the middle. Madueke, Mason Mount, João Felix.
Now, this is the bit that I want you guys to focus on because the way we approached this game was totally wrong.
And Fofana up top. Nice to see Fofana in the team. And what happens? You actually see in that dreadful first half, by the way. That first half was an international war crime. Can I just say that? I went on Twitter and I did say that. It's the equivalent of an international war crime. That first half was inexplicable, was despicable, was illegal. Absolutely ridiculous performance. I mean, we got outplayed. It wasn't even a case of we had the possession and nothing happened. We got outplayed by, once again, bottom of the league, managerless Southampton at home for that first half. And then it ends with a stupid foul on the edge of the box by Aspilicueta, who, as I've said, did come off, and I wish him well. But in the game, he gives a ridiculous challenge on the edge of the box, you know that Southampton have Ward-Prowse. The man is the modern day David Beckham. He scored the free kick. He is the most accurate free kick taker I've seen since Jorginho. Not Jorginho, sorry, Jorginho actually. I meant Juninho. If you remember Juninho, used to play for Lyon, absolute baller when it comes to free kicks. But talking about Jorginho, I've got him in my mind because of what he done for Arsenal today. We didn't see that for how many years when he was in a Chelsea shirt? Anyway, unbelievable. It's mad what happens when players leave Chelsea, they just blow up. Anyway, fantastic strike from Jorginho to put Arsenal up in stoppage time and get them to win. Nice to know that he's in a team that's actually winning. Well, anyway, Juninho, beautiful at free kicks. You just knew those sort of players, Juninho, Beckham, you just knew if you conceded a foul on the edge of the box, chances are it was the correct decision to take him off, because who knows, if he gets a red, then we're screwed. Anyway, we even with 11, we were screwed, so didn't really make much of a difference. But that's in hindsight. In the moment, absolutely agree with that decision. But he takes off to bring on Sterling, who, fair enough, Sterling actually came on and done well, I would say. Had a lot of impact. But he takes off Fofana.
All right. I'm having some issues playing the stream. Tony, I can see you in the back area. Can you just... Oh, yeah, here we go. On Tony, there was another dude here, but he's gone. Guys, the link is there. Anybody wants to jump on, you're welcome to do so. Eric, I'm gonna bring on Tony. We get some perspective on this. Tony, welcome to the channel. How are you, my man? Where you talking to us from?
From Nigeria. Baggy, what's up?
Welcome, Tony. Welcome. Baggy, you must be an old subscriber.
Nah, well, that's how I've always known you. I know you changed your name a couple of times, but I love Baggy.
Are you Tony GITL?
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah. How are you, my man? I haven't seen you for a very long time. You doing good?
Very good, thank you.
Good to have you back on the channel, mate. Listen, Tony, tell me your thoughts on Graham Potter, and tell me your thoughts on the match, man. Let me hear it.
It's simple. It's simple. Everybody has the same opinion about this guy. If he's, the man for the job, and obviously the results are astonishing, because we're supposed to be an elite club. Remember, we're supposed to be much more dominant, and and no matter how our circumstances behind the scenes are, we just find a way of getting results. But with this guy, over how many games now, it's just bottom barrel behavior, as if we are some mid-table club or something. So yeah, Potter out. Simple as that.
Potter out. All right. Do you see that there's a chance that he might be able to turn things around? Do you think?
Man,
do you think? Are we
honestly?
Tony. See, the thing is this. I agree with you 100%. I don't think Potter is able to. I don't think Potter can. But I'm hearing a lot of people who are still saying, "Oh, we give him more time, give him this, give him that." Do you think there is a way in some I don't know far-fetched imagination that Potter is able to turn things around, or do you think he doesn't have it within him?
Well, if you give any manager time, he would sort of put his image on that team. Give or take, at least one season, 1 year. But this is the thing, right? The question before Potter came in, what has it done? Did he even do any European finish for Brighton, or for any Östersund, or wherever he played? Which things did he do that would have made us have hope? This is where we are going, or he has done this before and we believe in him and all that. Nothing whatsoever. the appointment just turned out to be something else, and the results don't won't give anybody hope. No matter how patient you are, the results won't give anybody hope that
Sure.
he can,
Yeah.
fizzle out something. I doubt, huge doubt. So
Okay.
the earlier the better.
No, I agree with you, Tony. I have a queue waiting to come on, so thank you for coming on. Thank you for your opinion and your time, and I will see you. I will
Nice
see
one,
you
man.
in the future streams. Take care, Tony. Have a good one.
All
Bye
right,
bye.
brother. One love. Yeah.
Okay.
Cheers, brother. One love. Peace. All right. I'm gonna bring on Garbia, and then I'll bring on Sid. So let's bring on Garbia. Garbia, welcome to the channel. Welcome to the stream. How are you? And where are you talking?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I'm talking from Ghana.
Ghana.
Unfortunately, I lost. Yeah, I lost my brother Christian Achu, and I was so sad
Yeah.
for the whole day. And I have to watch my club Chelsea playing today. So I thought that side would, change my mood. But unfortunately, in fact, um, I couldn't hold myself. I don't know why this Potter man is still doing with the club. He need to be fired right after this match. Even we shouldn't give him more than 12 hours. We should fire this man. He's just destroying the club. I don't know what impact he's giving to the club. We've provided him everything. There is nothing like patience. We have Chelsea is not an average club that we should be saying let's give him time, let's give him time, let's give him time. We the fans we don't have time for this. We need a result. Look at the Champions League what we did. We played Dortmund all but like I don't know the coach don't have any tactics to use the players. It's not tactical. So this coach needs to be fired. I don't there is no nothing like we should give him time for the where. We are tired. Chelsea fans are tired. This is Chelsea. This is not an ordinary club. So this is what I have to say. We just need to fire this coach.
Yeah. Um, yeah, listen, mate. My condolences and my thoughts and prayers go out to Usta's family. May God have mercy on his soul. And he was a victim of a strategy. A lot of people died in those earthquakes, and there's a lot of hurt, a lot of pain because of them. So may God have mercy on the souls of all those who lost their lives, and may He give guidance and patience and mercy to their families. Garby, thank you for coming on. Thank you for your opinion. Once we hear from Sid, me and Eric, we will address all these comments. So thank you for your time and thank you for coming on.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you. Peace.
Yeah, great.
All right. The last person in the queue is Sid. Sid, welcome to the stream. How are you? And where are you talking to us from? Sid, you're on mute. Your mic is on mute, Sid.
Hi guys, I'm talking from
Hi.
India,
Welcome.
and
Welcome, Sid.
currently the state of mind of Chelsea fans is not good, and it's around 3 a.m. here, and I can't sleep. That's why I joined the stream because
Thank you for
the
joining.
only time I faced this type of stance was against Real Madrid last season when we lost 3-2 in Champions League quarter final. And that was the time when I thought we played well, but today we played horrendous football. And I go on different streams, I talk about Chelsea, but I was the one, I think, who thought that we need to give time to Potter. But after today's performance, I also lost my patience because today's performance was clueless. We don't know what we were doing. It was like a 11 headless chickens were running on the pitch, in my opinion, because there was no pattern of play. There was nothing. Yes, we missed one or two chances, but it's not like you can create one or two chances for Chelsea Football Club.
Yeah. Do you think he needs time? Because you said that you think he might
Yeah,
have turned things around. Do you think if we give him more time, he can do it?
I don't think so now because see, we have 35 players. if I'm not wrong. And to manage this many profiles, people are going about not taking Aubameyang in the squad, which I think is right decision. It's not
Oh,
for
what
short-term
you
success.
agree? You agree with his decision to leave Aubameyang from the Champions League squad?
No, not for Champions League, but for Premier League. Because in Premier League we are already done, in my opinion. We are not going to get top four. The performance you can see, we are not able to beat Southampton, who are last in the league, who haven't kept. I guess they have only kept one clean sheet against Bournemouth this season in all
Okay.
competition, and they kept against us. So you know the levels.
Mm.
Our attack
All
is
right. Well,
shit.
Sid, go on.
No, no,
Yeah.
I was just saying our attack is totally shit, in my opinion, and he's clueless to what pattern to follow, to how to attack. It's nothing.
All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. Sid, thank you for your time. Thank you for coming on. I hope to see you in future streams.
Good night,
Take care of
guys.
yourself and good night, my brother. Take care. Have a good one. All right. So, Eric, different opinions. Most of the guys who came on were willing to give Potter time, but they all have changed their minds. They all have changed their opinions. Where do you stand? Where do you stand in respect to will Graham Potter be sacked, or will Todd Boehly and Iqbali be looking at the finances of sacking him and bringing another manager in and think to themselves, look, like Sid said, we're shit. Let's just keep it until the end of the season, and then maybe we'll do something next season. Where do you think we are right now with this?
Yeah, hopefully you can still hear me. I'm having some technical.
No, you're good.
Okay, I think I might need to. I haven't updated my browser, so it's like keeps slowing down and speeding back up. But hopefully it's fine now. Yeah, for me, I think even going back to what Eunice was mentioning, I agree with most of what he said. I think the whole thing about resting players is a difficult one, but I completely agree that we're not in the position. We're just not in the position to rest our best players. If they're available, if they're fit, you have to just keep playing them, because if you don't, you're giving yourself a reason to be criticized. You're exposing yourself, and you're not in the position as the coach to have the time or to be given that excuse of resting the players. We haven't won a game since God knows when. How many goals have we scored in like 12 games? We've scored like 2 goals in 12 games or something stupid like this. So
something stupid like that, yeah.
I mean, it's terrible. He might be the worst manager Chelsea have ever had. He might be, statistically, or maybe he's definitely
he's definitely the worst we've had in the past 25 years in regards to statistics. Exactly. But is it the worst ever? I haven't gone that far back.
Yeah, maybe not. If he's close, I won't be surprised, because it's been really, really bad. Does he deserve time? The only reason you can justify him deserving time is if you say, the ownership sought him out, they invested so much in him, they have an idea of what they're trying to do. That is the only justification. Look how much money they spent. Look how much money he's earning. 12 million a year or something like this. It's a lot of money. The cost of getting rid of him would be the justification for keeping him there. But is that enough? Is that good enough for Chelsea? I'm not sure it is. I still think if you want to sack him, which, at this point, I can't, there's nothing to say. You could have, in my opinion, I didn't even want him in the first place, but when he was appointed, I wasn't against it. I looked at what he did at Brighton. I thought he did a good job. Not saying he was ever Chelsea level, but you can justify it to a point based on what he did at Brighton. But in the end, he's proven that he's not good enough. He's not Chelsea level, and I don't think we can give this kind of time for him to maybe become. Because for me, am I still here?
Yeah. I can hear you, but yeah, the screen is okay. Then now I can see you move. Yeah, you're good.
Yeah,
You're good.
I'm gonna refresh. I'll refresh after this. Yeah. So, but for me, I think look, he's not good enough. He's not showing that he deserves time, because at the end of the day, you need to show us something. We can't just go on blind faith and hope, because right now I have a lot of hope in what the club are doing as a whole, but I don't have faith in Potter, and I don't believe in what Potter is doing. I just don't. He hasn't shown anything. Lampard has shown a lot more than Potter has shown. We never looked this bad. The performances were never this bad under Lampard. Yes, we conceded a lot of goals, but things were never this bleak and hopeless. This is a big club. Doesn't matter who we put on the pitch. Even the whole thing about resting players. Okay, we might lose a game. Fans are not asking for too much, to be completely honest. If we lose a game but we have a good performance, there's something to hold on to. You played well. On another day you could have won the game. Another day you could have scored more goals. But we're not playing well most of these games. We're not winning. We get a draw at best. We get a clean sheet, 0-0 draw. And that is what we can hold. That's the best thing about this run or this time we've had under Potter. We either play well and we lose, play well and we get a draw, or we don't play well, we still lose. Whether we're playing well or not, we're losing, we're not scoring goals, and we're not getting the results. If we play badly and we still win, at least you have something to hold on to. If you lose and you're still at least good, putting in good performances, you have something to hold on to. There's no tactics, there's no performance, there's no fight from the players. So there's nothing to say Potter should stay. The only reason that I wouldn't sack him is just because as the ownership, if you sack two managers in the same season, you give it the wrong impression. You make it look as if you don't have a clue what you're doing. So that's the main problem with sacking sacking Potter this season would be very bad. That's the only thing that I would say for that.
Yeah. I'm gonna bring in Joe, but I'm gonna bring him in from a different angle. So this is the thing. Right now, we are all, majority of the fans, I would say that the numbers are getting higher and higher, are calling for Potter to be sacked. With every fixture, with every result that is going in the wrong direction, more and more people are calling for Potter to get sacked. Now, the angle that I want Joe to address is this. With the situation, the financial situation that Todd Boehly and Boehly are going to be facing, the fact that they have spent, or they are going to have spent £75 million over the next 5 years for Potter to be in charge of Chelsea Football Club as our head coach. Sacking him would mean we still have to give him. We still have to pay for the rest of his contract. He's going to cost us a lot of money, and he's going to be off the books. And then we have to bring in another manager, and we're going to have to give him more money to be managing Chelsea Football Club. So financially, it is a very dicey situation to be in. You have a better understanding of Todd Boehly, of his mindset. Do you think he's there? Do you think he will get to that stage where he will sack him? Or do you think, we're in for a bumpy ride and it's going to take a while for anything to happen? So welcome to the stream and give me your thoughts.
Well, thank you for having me on again. Appreciate it. Good to see you again.
Pleasure.
Hope everything's going well over there.
Yeah, everything's good. Apart from Chelsea.
Good.
Everything else is good.
Yeah, but I mean, come on. We at least we're alive. We're okay. That's the bigger deal. So, okay. So I'm kind of mixed on it. I mean, I understand because I want the club to do really well too. So, I want a manager who's going to come in and just change everything miraculously, instantly, and stuff like that. I think Boehly. Well, let me answer your question first. I think Boehly will eventually, if it continues. Yeah, I mean, I think he'll cut the cord if he has to. I mean, I don't think he's the Dodgers. There were 4 or 5 managers they cut over the few years before what's his name is that Roberts has been there for about 4 or 5 now. So I mean, they went through and made mistakes if they had to. So they're not afraid to cut the losses, because I don't think you could tell me if I'm wrong, but I don't think if they cut the contract with him, would that affect financial fair play or anything? That's just a separate off the item book, right? That doesn't matter. So I don't think they really care about that. Like if they have to lose 60 million on a write-off, there's tax write-offs, they can write it off somehow. You know what I mean? That's not the issue. I think what they're trying to create is like I put in the chat, I think they're trying to create cohesion from the top to the bottom of the organization. And I think if you just keep, I know Roman, we all love Roman. He's great. He's cutthroat. He's everything like that. But I think the reason why is when you saw that when he sold the club, how bad we were in our management, in our infrastructure and stuff like that, was because for 20 years, we just cut people and just, we want instant gratification. And if we didn't have such a great owner like Roman that miraculously found another great owner that would pay the money that they wanted, that he was asking and needed to be paid, we would be really a lot worse than we are now. So I think he's trying to do, like, Liverpool's the same thing. They're trying to create like cohesion. If you just keep cutting people and recycling like methodologies, all that kind of stuff, it eventually makes the organization seem less stable and stuff like that. So there's going to be less investment. There's going to be less faith from the board about what's going on, and because it's not just Roman anymore who kind of oversaw things from, the empire, the emperor in his castle. It's a different kind of way to run the club, and they don't want to be seen as like an unstable club or something that's like the new idiot owners that are just cutting and running and not knowing what's going on. So I mean, I do understand. I am kind of frustrated that I'm not frustrated about the losses necessarily. It's the way they look. The players don't look like very enthused. That's where I start getting concerned as someone watching it. I don't get concerned if they're losing. Like, they're losing because City's going to beat them. Liverpool, Arsenal, they're probably going to beat them. You know what I mean? That's fine. But when you see the team just not even like wanting the drive and passion to like move forward and get better, that's when you start looking at the manager. I still think they're going to give him a little bit more time. I think we were kind of delusional after we spent all this money that we were going to go to the Champions League this next year anyways. I think we were all kind of like, oh yeah, we're just going to hop on now and it's going to go, you know what I mean? So I think they kind of understood that from the beginning, like, hey, look, this year is going to be a knock year. And next year, what we're going to do is we're going to focus on domestic dominance, because if they're going like the American way, like, what you do is you dominate your league or your immediate league, and then you look bigger. So like with the Dodgers, like every year they say like our focus isn't the World Series, it's to win the West. You know what I mean? And so they don't care. They dominate. So for 12 years, they've won their division. And that's what they're going to do. They're going to say, look, we're going to dominate English football first and then spread out. So we're going to go and we're going to win domestic doubles, things like that. And then look at Europe as like a side piece, like kind of cherry on the extra. But they're going to try to create like I was saying, just a function like that. But I'm not, like I said, I don't have 100% faith in Potter either. I don't think he's like, the end all be all. I don't think he's, something, but I think you have to give it some time before you can. To me, the biggest issue is we still don't have a striker, because if you looked at the Dortmund game, we could have won that with just a decent striker. I mean, Felix hit the post, twice, I think, you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like we couldn't have won that game. We should have won that game. You know what I mean? So I think, in general,
George, can I interrupt you for 1 second? The thing is this. You can't replicate that system in the Premier League. One of the hardest things to do is to dominate the Premier League, is to win the Premier League. A team might actually have a better chance of winning the Champions League than they do of winning the Premier League. You may dominate in Europe, but you may not dominate domestically. The FA Cup is also another trophy which is very, very hard for teams to win. And you will see that a lot of clubs, when they enter a season, they will have one focus. We're going to focus our attention on the Premier League. And then you will see them fielding second string teams for the rest of the competitions, but they'll be focused on the Premier League. Now, if Todd Boehly is coming in with that kind of mindset, I want to focus on the Premier League, I want to win the Premier League, beautiful, fantastic.
Yeah, well,
But
that's what I
if
mean.
you're-
I do think he's focusing on that specifically.
Yeah, but wait, you see, the thing is this: as a owner, for him to be involved that level of the pyramid, if I could put it that way, is a little bit problematic because one of the things that were talked about is Todd, and I'm not disagreeing with you, but what I'm saying is if that is the case, then it's problematic because one of the things that was said that Todd Boehly sacked Tuchel because their visions were not parallel. They weren't thinking in the same way. Thomas Tuchel is purely a football in mind, whereas Todd Boehly, he looks at it from a financial standpoint as well as a footballer standpoint, and this is where I think things clashed. One of the reports was he wanted Cristiano Ronaldo to come to Chelsea when Tuchel said no, I don't want him. Todd Boehly was looking at it from the marketing potential that would be brought in with Ronaldo. Tuchel looked at it as Ronaldo is over the hill. He isn't going to add nothing to my team. I don't want to have him a man. I don't want to have to play him and drop other players because it will affect the success of the team. And that's the kind of mindset that kind of clashed. So this is where we are. We now have a manager that doesn't have a mindset, a vision, or a tactical understanding. But whatever is being put to him by Todd Boehly, he is saying, yes, I will do it. Let's buy this player. Let's do it. Let's buy that player. Let's do it. He isn't really a confrontational kind of person. And you can see that on the touchline. And that is one of the issues a lot of the fans have with him. There was a fight that broke out with Dortmund, and he was there, and he was just literally looking. Had that have been Tuchel, had that have been Conte, had that have been even Sarri, Jose Mourinho, they would have been in there, trying to get involved. Maybe that's a bad thing, getting involved might not be the good. Maybe what Graham Potter did was the right thing, but it doesn't show the emotion and the drive, the passion.
Yeah. No, I completely. I don't feel him personally either. Like I don't connect with him. But again, what I'm saying is let's just take a step back for a second and say for example, I was looking back the other day and I was reading something, and Fergie, his first year in '86 in United, he won 12 games out of 40. Okay, and he didn't win a trophy until '90. So 4 years. And I'm not saying we be that patient. That's not what I'm saying. But let's give some historical perspective, I think, about we've been really spoiled the last 20 years where we win some kind of trophy every single year. And I'm not saying we shouldn't have that mindset where we should focus on that. We should be every year we're going to win a trophy. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm trying to say that let's give it a little bit more time than jump in the air and go oh my God, it's all over. It's all over. Everything's bad. Everything's bad. We kind of knew we're not going to win anything this year. But if we come back next year and we did with if we look at kind of patterns in history, we've had these years where we'll have a really bad year, then we'll come back, we'll invest big, change things up, and we'll win the Premier League the next year, and then we'll kind of go on a little bit of a run. We did that in I think it was 14 and 15 with Conte. We did that in 16 and 17. We won the league, and then from the year before everyone was, we're mid-table. I'm saying it's we can be a little bit more patient in the big scheme of things, I think. If I do understand what you're saying about the passion thing, that's my one concern is if I was the ownership. Now we don't know what's going on behind the stage, the scenes and stuff. If ownership is talking to players and being hey, what's going on inside the dressing room? There's backline conversations going on between the higher ups and seeing what's actually going on in that locker room. And if there is enough uncertainty back down there where it is affecting the players to where they just don't want to perform and stuff like that, and the ownership starts to agree, they'll cut the cord. I just think they're trying to see let's just make it if we can to the end of this year, give them a summer, see if the players come back, and with the young guys coming back from loan and stuff next year, and some of the decisions we'll make in the off season, let's see if we can put something together. If not, then I think they'll cut him in the beginning of the first 10 games or so next year. You know what I mean? If he doesn't perform, but I think this year we could just I know it's it's like the old saying, the night is darkest before the dawn. You know what I mean? You got to kind of just bide your time a little bit. You know what I mean? Didn't there was I thought Liverpool or United a couple years ago back or after Fergie left, weren't they down to 15th, 16th place and stuff like that? And everyone was screaming and going crazy over there too. But they survived and they're doing better now. You know what I mean? It's just like, you have to. I think it's a bigger picture. Is like in sports, we're just a little spoiled. We've been so spoiled, and I think, and rightfully so. We've invested, we've made good decisions, we have good ownership. You know what I mean? We want stuff, but you can't win everything all the time. This isn't like you said, and that's what I think. I want to know. Do you know personally, or factually, do you win more money from the Champions League or the Premier League if you win it?
Champions League.
Do you win it more in the Champions League with taxes and everything like that?
Yeah.
If you're an outside,
I think
if you're a non-European club and you win it, you still would have to pay the taxes and stuff like that, the European taxes. I'm just wondering, if
you're a non-European club, you can't play in the Champions League. It's a European competition. But the Champions League, I believe, first place is 15 million
pounds. Okay.
Yeah, that's a prize money for.
And that's pure profit, right? That would, in financial fair play, that would act as pure profit, right?
That's not that's revenue that you've generated as prize money. It does not.
So just pure profit. Yeah. Okay.
Pure profit. The thing is this: to win the Champions League, you have to get to the knockout stage, quarterfinals, semi-finals, and each stage you get to, you're also earning money. They pay you. I wanna bring in Eric.
Eric,
from this point of view, Eric, we are now talking Graham Potter. The fan base is turning and they're saying Graham Potter no longer should be at Chelsea. Now, if we are now at this point in our decision making, we don't want to see Graham Potter as our manager, as a fan base, and we saw the fans booing today. We saw the fans booing against Dortmund, booing the team. If Graham Potter is backed by this ownership, and the ownership are not taking into account the fans' perception, perspective, opinion, can you see a scenario where this pressure will start to turn against the ownership?
I think the fans' opinions matter. The fans' opinion does matter to the owners, but doesn't mean they'll sack him now. I still think if they decide to sack him, which would be a big loss for them, not just financially, it would have to be at the end of the season. They can't just do it now. That would be ridiculous. That would be a really bad. I mean, Chelsea fans might not see things like this, but it's a very bad. It's a worse situation sacking Potter now than what we've been experiencing with Potter, because it's not as if it's just his fault, but I would still say at this point he is mostly to blame, but it's not all his fault. So sacking him now would be a terrible mistake, not because he doesn't deserve to be sacked, not because we're better off with him in there, but because first of all, sacking him doesn't guarantee that we will start playing better. That's the truth. Secondly, when you sack him, who do you bring in? I don't even know who the interim coach will be. Maybe hopefully Aspi recovers and everything is well, goes well with him. But if Aspi recovers very shortly, maybe Aspi will be our interim head coach,
or maybe John Terry.
Maybe John Terry. Who knows? Maybe someone from the academy can coach this team in the meantime. But the thing is, would that be better? Some fans might say yes, that would be better, but they don't know that it would. They're just saying that because it's so bad now. You can't get much worse. How much worse is it going to be now than it was before? But for me, I still say keep him until the end of the season, as long as we're not battling relegation. Because in my personal opinion, I don't know what you guys think, but if we're not in the Champions League, I don't want us to be in any European competition. I think it's Champions League or bust, Champions League or nothing at all. I don't want Europa, I don't want Conference League, I'm not interested. So if we're definitely not getting Champions League, let us not get any European football. We can just start from scratch next season, and if Potter needs to leave and be replaced, we need to start looking now. Who is the guy we need to bring in to replace Potter?
Yeah, that's my question. Who would be the manager? Who do we think is out there? I mean, Enrique I mean, who's out there that we can just who's out there that we're gonna get that? I mean, bring Tuchel back? Would he want to come back? I'm just wondering who would you get? I mean, who would you guys recommend if we were gonna look for somebody that we would just sack now? Because wouldn't he want to bring different players in with his system and stuff too, and all the coaches from the top to the bottom, from the youth division to the scouts to all that? Wouldn't he want to bring in all new people and stuff?
It would be such a hassle because if you think about it, he would need his own assurances, like Potter did, and sacking Potter now would basically be going back on what you already promised him. He was told he would be given time. He was told this is a long-term thing. So sacking him now would just go against everything you promised him at the start. So the next guy that comes in will be thinking, who's to say that this doesn't happen to me? Who's to say, when things go wrong, I won't get, removed after a few months, just like Potter did. Because let's be honest, this would be the quickest removal of a newly appointed coach that I can remember in the last maybe 20 years, because Potter hasn't even been here for 7 months. So if we're saying we bring a manager in, back him to the hilt.
Well, how long was V.S. Boas there?
The issue. Hold on a second. The issue isn't in regards to how quick or how how the decision is made. The issue is that they offered him a 5-year contract from the start, and that is a big problem because a lot of managers. I mean, Thomas Tuchel, well renowned, a great manager, great history. He was offered, I think, was it a year's contract, and then it was 18 months, and then it was extended, and then he got sacked. So, offering a manager a 5-year contract from the beginning is something that we don't see very often. I mean, I don't think it happens anymore. And the fact that it was given to Graham Potter is very, very surprising. Tony, you're back on. I want to hear your opinion. I mean, what is it that you want to enlighten us with, Tony?
Welcome, Tony.
Well, thank you, brothers. It's just the whole merry-go-round, managers coming and going. But the truth is, we will have to sack this guy early. That's my opinion. Now, I really don't mind the financial outlay and all that stuff, because the earlier the better. The players are not galvanized, and I really don't know how else to change it, because the mood it might not show on you might not be able to tell on the pitch, but I feel for footballing reasons we should save these guys the blushes and just Potter out, because I really don't see anything changing. It's just going to make the squad a certain kind of way and make the next manager's job harder. So yeah, that's what I think concerning sacking him or letting him stay for the long run.
All right. I've got over 100 people in the chat. The video is only on 61 likes. So either I'm doing a very bad job or you guys are not doing your job. So if you want to see Graham Potter sacked, hit the like button. If you want to see Graham Potter sacked, hit the like button. In the comments below, type 1 to sack Potter or 2 to keep him. So 1 sack, 2 keep. Let me see it in the chat. 1 sack, 2 keep. I wanna see some ones in the chat. Hopefully, unless we're not reading the situation where we're going to see a whole bunch of 2s. So if you want to sack Potter, hit the number 1 key. If you want to keep him, hit the number 2 key. All right, I'm seeing. Okay, they're coming in now. Jeff Knightley wants to sack him over and over again. And guys, hit the like button on the stream. I'd really appreciate that. So we get a lot of 1s. Iman 1. We've got a 2. 2. No point. We will just have another yes man. Good point. Have they learned their lesson? Joe, Would they make the same mistake twice?
I don't know. See, that's the thing. I don't really know. I haven't read enough if Potter's just a straight yes man or what. I don't know the interaction between him and the board. I'm sure there was some. I mean, we know there was some kind of assurances that he's going to get something of what he wants. So I don't know if he's a complete yes man. You know what I mean? He did negotiate saying if I'm going to come here, I want 5 years and I want all these players coming in and stuff. You know what I mean? So I don't know if he's a complete yes man, but I mean, we've seen what happens though. What happened with Mourinho? He a lot of these guys that are like these, I'm doing it my way, my way, my way. You have these 3-year spurts where the first year they do okay. You can see some, vision of what's coming. The second year they do great. They win the league or they win a trophy, this and that. And then the third year they crash because of uncertainty. Like that's what happened to Mourinho the first couple of times, and that's what happened with, a lot of managers. I mean, you come in, if you just come in and you have those 3-year periods and then it's over, I kind of want something that's a lot longer term. And, if like I said, give him a chance. If you start, like I said, who knows? Maybe what if in 2 matches we start winning and everyone's like happy again? That's what I'm saying. Like, I just want like in a couple weeks, if we start doing better, everybody to watch the stream that right now that's going, oh, we're crazy, everything's going nuts. That to just look back and be like, look, things can change in sports. You know what I mean? It's not immediate gratification all the time. It takes some time to get better, especially if, like I said, our organization, like if we looked at it, if you took a step back when this whole happened, the sale and everything, this club was not in a really great place structurally, organizationally, what the recruiting, staffing, all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? So we're really starting from scratch, so let's have a little bit of time. I know everyone's going to be against me and say, fire him now, fire him. I understand. But again, kind of like Eric said, what are we going to do? Are we going to bring in Enrique? Is he going to want to come in for a half a year and then start again? You know what I mean? Like, who's going to want that uncertainty? Who's going to want to come into a club that's so uncertain that there's no, that they hired somebody to do a long-term goal, and then now they're just replacing someone with a totally different long-term goal. I don't understand. It would be redundant. I feel like, if we did that, it's like you kind of have to just let it, like, like I said, you have to see the process through to the end sometimes before you just, cut it halfway.
All right, guys. Sorry, Eric. Guys, I've put a poll in the chat. If you can just give me your votes on it. We've got 19 votes so far. Potter out, yes is 90, no is 10%. For those of you who voted no, let me know in the chat why you think we should stick with him. Is it because of the financial implications? Is it because of you still believing in the process? I mean, let me know in the chat why you voted to keep him in. Go ahead, Tony.
Yeah, I wanted to come in between with what Joe was saying. It's now a case of, do we trust the process or chop and change? Those managers. Joe talked about the 3-year. Maybe we win the league, then the club. After then, the club now goes downhill, and we want to sack the manager and get a new one. You will notice then the managers we had, their complaints were the board didn't back them with more expensive, luxurious signings, to beef up the squad. They will always make that point up. Why? Because blah, blah, blah. Maybe the boys are hard to motivate and, things like that. Now we have a board that's willing to spend and spend and spend, but this manager in particular isn't really showing any sign of, is not really showing any sign of progress, should I say. The previous manager's winning record, is still better than this guy, and he Potter in question appears confused, with the quality of the players that we have, in the squad right now. He behaves like as if he doesn't know which one is the better one, out of the lots, and it's somewhat confusing, and ultimately telling in match day lineups and subs, and ultimately in the results. So I think again, if we are to be honest and to be factual and to act fast, we just have to sack this guy and accept we appointed the wrong guy. You don't sack Tuchel and appoint Graham Potter. I feel it's not correct. That was the mistake right there. Maybe if we did with another bigger person that has a better resume, a better CV, we can say, okay, give him time. We know he has done this before somewhere, somehow. But for this guy, there's no questions at all.
All right, fair enough. Guys, look, the way I see it is this: to sack Graham Potter, it's going to cost Todd Boehly and his organization a lot, financially, reputation, and also I think Joe mentioned the hiring of the next manager is going to be a little bit complicated because, well, I think it might have been Eric, a little bit complicated because who wants to come in to a revolving door job, which is what we've had in the past. So sacking 3 managers in one season is difficult. I think it was Eric who said it. Sacking 3 managers in one season is difficult. Sacking 2 managers in one season is difficult because it shows that this job does not have any stability, security. Financially, like I said, it's not sound. But I think if Todd Boehly and Iqbali want to see a change in the performances, a change in the results, they have to sack him. If they are looking at achieving something respectable this season, they have to sack him. If this season is void, if this season is one that is not going to be, what's the word here? Remembered achievements, because we're in 10th. Are we going to get relegated? No. Are we going to win any trophies? Pretty much no. So sacking him is not really going to achieve anything, right? I think that's the mindset that is currently pushing Todd Boehly and Iqbali to keep him in the job, because, all right, we're in a shit position right now. If we sack this man, what is the benefits? Are we going to really achieve anything this season? No. Let's stick with him. Keep him to the end of the season, and then we will either hire someone at the start of next season, or if from now until the end of the season, Graham Potter shows some sort of change, some sort of achievement, then maybe we'll give him next season. But I think that's where we are right now. Because look, I'm a fan. I'm passionate. I hate seeing my team losing week in, week out. Losing. We are losing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Even a draw is not acceptable. This is Chelsea Football Club. We are winners. We are title holders. We achieve. We've had I think it's an average of 1 trophy per season for the past 20 years, on average. Okay, now that in itself is a massive achievement. We are one of the most successful teams on the planet, not just in Europe, on the planet. We are one of the most successful teams on the planet over the past 20 years. So for us to be in this position, this is foreign for us. This is not something that we are able to comprehend, accept. Okay. But this is the situation we're in. And I'm glad the lads that came on all articulated this in the right way, because really and truly, none of us believe in Potter. None of us have faith in Potter. But all of us understand that if Potter is sacked, the ramifications of his sacking is going to be something that is going to be very difficult for Chelsea Football Club to deal with at this point in time. Graham Potter getting sacked at the end of the season, I think, is the likely outcome, especially if he doesn't change it, if he doesn't adjust his performances. And to be fair, I don't think he will. I think this is the likely outcome. He will be sacked at the end of the season. And I agree with Eric, I agree with Joe, I agree with Tony. The man isn't good enough, but at the same time, he is unlikely to be sacked. Even though we all want to see him sacked because we all want to see results, he won't be sacked because Chelsea are looking at the bigger picture when it comes to the ramifications of his sacking. Okay, I guarantee you, Todd Boehly would love to see the back of Graham Potter right now. But when he looks at the ramifications and the ripple effect, he's thinking to himself, no, keep him until the end of the season. I'll trust in the man. When they say we have faith in him, we're putting trust in him, it isn't really in him, his ability. It's in him as he's the manager. This is the roller coaster ride we're going to be on. It's going to end at the end of the season. Either we're going to continue for another trip around the roller coaster, or we're going to say to him, see you later, mate. We're going to get someone else. That's what it is. That's really what it is. Look, guys, I have to bounce, but it's been great to have you guys on the stream. Joe, Eric, and Tony. Also, I forgot the other guy's name. I'm sorry for forgetting the name, but what was it?
Sid.
No,
Sid.
Sid. And there was another guy from Ghana. I forgot the guy's name from Ghana. Anyway, look, guys. Gabriel. Yeah, Gabriel. So, guys, thank you for being here. People in the chat, much love, much respect, much appreciated. If you haven't subscribed already, you know what you got to do. You got to hit that subscription key. And if you haven't liked the stream, then I'm disappointed in you. That's all I've got to say. If you haven't liked the stream, I'm disappointed in you. Let me have a quick look at the poll. The poll, 71 people voted, 80% say Potter out and 20% Potter in. And I'm guessing the 20% who said Potter in are basing it on what I just said in regards to the ramifications. But guys, Courtney, Bobby, Ensign, who else? Everyone in the chat. Thank you all for being here. Much love, much respect. I will give you my regular outro if I can find it. Here we go. Good night, people, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.